No, but first of all, kind of tell us where you're from.
I am born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. That is where,
Ohio.
yes, yes, indeed. Been here
Okay.
all my life. So,
Okay. Tell us a little bit about you for the people that's not familiar with who you are.
a bit about me is me being a young artist from Cleveland, Ohio. I started freestyle rapping at the age of 7, and then I started writing by 9 or 10 years old. So I've been through my ups and downs with the industry, independent labels or whatnot, and now I am with the Life Entertainment, which is Crazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony's record label. So
Oh,
now I tour the country, and I just actually came back from Cuba, and
oh,
you know did a performance out there as well. So definitely making my rounds. Before I got with Bone, I was touring, doing some pretty big festivals, and
right.
I'm still able to do so to this day.
Okay. All right. Well, who inspired you to make music?
I would say the artists from like the late '80s, early '90s. We can go Tribe Called Quest, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, De La Soul,
Okay.
uh, Jungle Brothers, Ice Cube.
Okay.
A lot of those guys, Nas, Tupac,
Right.
the greats. Most of the
Okay.
greats, they inspire me.
Okay. How would you describe the music that you typically create?
I would say it's more conscious. The music I create, I would definitely categorize it as conscious.
Okay.
Um, I also have a party side to me. I think being versatile is, a great piece to an artist. And so I make party music. I make conscious music. Uh, that's those are the best ways that I feel like I could describe myself. I'm all about self awareness, regardless.
Okay.
Even in some of my party music, I'll say things like that reflect self awareness still.
Okay.
How we should conduct ourselves, if
Right.
problems. I like to be a thinker. I think that's the best way I can describe myself, is being a
Okay.
thinker.
Okay. Now, what is your creative process like?
Creative process, starts with the beat. I hear a beat, I like the beat, and then I start to say little rhymes to it, see what I could come up with, and whatever feels I come up with. I like for it to be an organic flow, and so that's when I just get into. I like to make choruses first. I
Okay.
don't start writing without a chorus. And once I get that chorus, that kind of lets me know the direction that I need to go in. And that's when I start to piece together my verses.
Okay. Well, how did you get introduced to Bone Thugs and Harmony?
Uh, the way that I got introduced to Bone Thugs and Harmony was making an album, and then I started to promote the album. And as I was promoting the album on social media, someone
Oh,
caught wind of the single that I put out. It was a song called Monster at the time, off my Thinking Out Loud album, which is on Apple and all digital platforms. And so once they heard the record Monster, then it went from one hand to another hand to another hand. And next thing I know, me and Crazy Bone were emailing each other, and we put together a song called Love My City, which actually ended up being on that first album that I had revised.
okay. How is it like hanging out with Bone Thugs and Harmony all the time? And do you have like any funny Bone Thugs and Harmony stories to tell?
I got stories to tell. Some I can, some I can't. I guess I have to, watch what I pick. But, but it's always an experience. It's always fun. You always have artists, other artists, NBA players, etc., that know them and that are fans of them. So they come around. Like it was I remember we were in we were on the Puff Puff Pass 2 tour with Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound, Warren G. And we were in Kentucky, and so Bone has we had our locker room, and so we're standing in our locker room, and so Snoop Dogg walks in, and
Okay.
I'm right by the door as he walks in, so I looks up,
Uh,
say, oh, Snoop, what's up, man? Slap five, and he started mingling with the guys or whatnot. And then Lazy Bone says, "Hey man, it's the Puff Puff Pass 2 tour, man. We kind of dry in here, you know what that means." So then Snoop said, "Oh, for real?" He like, "Oh, y'all ain't saying nothing but a word." And he pulled out a bag and started passing it around, and everybody, it was like typical what you would think Snoop Dogg would do, like, and yeah, that was a super cool moment that I think I always remember.
what was like one of the biggest obstacles you had to deal with as it relates to your career?
Uh, One of the biggest obstacles I think is hmm, big obstacles. Just staying motivated at times.
Right,
Uh, I think sometimes we feel like we should meet a certain goal at a certain time, and we forget we on God's time.
okay,
And so, at times it's like, man, and you start rethinking some things, but you still ultimately like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. And it's just remembering
right,
everything, the things that are supposed to happen are gonna be on God's time. You continue to put your foot forward,
right,
but things are gonna happen when they're supposed to happen as they're supposed to happen. So keeping
right.
things in mind and kind of throwing away the entitlement.
Okay. Now, what would you be doing right now, like if it wasn't for your music career?
If I wasn't doing music, I would probably either be uh boxing,
Okay.
or let's see. It would probably be boxing, or I don't know, trying to figure out another way out.
Right.
You know, the thing is with music, it's opened so many doors. Like I teach now as well. Due to
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, um, with all of the learning that I've gained over the years in regards to the industry, in regards to being an artist, seeing that record labels are no longer doing artist development, I decided to create my own artist development program
Oh,
and actually
wow.
school's curriculum. So now, right at this moment, I'm teaching out of 12 different schools around Ohio.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, so I don't think I would have become a teacher without hip hop. So I
Right,
think I think there was no other way for me. And so you know how they say hip hop saved my life,
right,
because I don't know how happy I would have been doing anything else because I'm such an expressive person.
right. How do you feel the internet has impacted the music, business?
Um, Everything is within the snap of a finger. You
Right.
know, uh, back back in the days of CDs, I guess. I don't mean to sound old like that. I always enjoyed going to purchase the music out of stores.
Yeah.
And back then, um, you're really seeing. Even though record labels did buy albums, let's be honest.
Right.
But um, that feeling of unpackaging the CD and looking at the book,
Right.
you know, and then it being like 17 songs on an album, you know,
Right.
or 16 songs, you know, things are just different now. Everything is just
It
micro.
is.
I think when you put food in the stove and you know, just letting it cook,
Right.
you know, as opposed to just you know, I just think the quality, you know, put into, you know, when you put that food in the stove is
Yeah.
better, you know. But yeah, it's kind of it's kind of taking the aspect away of, hey, when I meet this artist, I'm gonna get this album autographed.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't autograph your phone.
Now, what is the best advice you have been given from anyone?
Just to learn the business side of the business and understand who you are as an artist. You know, business, we're in the music business. And
Right.
so don't have any business sense.
Right.
It's going to hurt you. You're going
Okay.
because people are going to sense that and then take advantage of you.
Right.
Because that's what they do. And then understanding who you are as an artist helps you to not be so influenced
Right.
by artists to where you don't sound like your true self. You sound like you're listening to time.
Right.
You just want to be you.
Right.
You just want to be you, and so people will appreciate you. Um, and don't be afraid to be you. Some
Right.
people think just because this is what's hot right now
Right.
that to emulate, and that's not necessarily true. You
Okay.
know, so those were some of the best advices that I've been given. But I've always been an individual
Right.
as an artist, regardless. But I'm always, you know, I've had a mentor or two in certain pieces of my journey as an
Okay.
artist.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, which famous musician do you admire and why?
You know what? I'm gonna go close to home and say Krayzie Bone.
Oh yeah, I like Crazy Bone.
And and the thing is, you know, I've 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 watched him help put on so many artists from his hometown,
Right.
and but then also beyond that, or I don't know if I want to say beyond that, but coupled with that, being able to rap, but then also being able to harmonize, being able to be a trendsetter in this music, you know,
Right.
because once he and his crew dropped, there were so many others that, you know, wanted to sound like, you know,
Yeah.
um and just being able to stand the test of time and still be able to put out music to this day and still be humble, still have his nonprofits, which he, you know, give back to the community, um, and being so well respected around the industry and seeing it firsthand
Right.
really catapults him in my mind and heart. So
Okay. Now, next thing is real talk. This is something we're starting where we kind of ask, in the interview questions like two things that are going on in the world or, in the community. So the first question is, what are your thoughts when you see Black people marching and protesting when a policeman kills one of us, but when we kill each other with gang violence or just violence in general, then hey, we look over that and do not march or protest. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, that's a deep question. My thoughts on seeing my people march and protest, but not doing the same as much when, you know, one of us kills our own. Well, here's the thing. I've still seen marches after deaths happen in neighborhoods, just not on such a global scale. Every If you look at the statistics, each 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 as each race, they kill their own
Yeah.
more than, you know, they kill an outsider of that race. So sad to say, but it's a bit more of the norm in every space, in every race. Now, when we talk about an officer murdering a black man, here's the thing. You know, Pookie up the street didn't swear to protect and serve us.
Right.
My money isn't going to him
Right.
to do his job.
It's true.
It's going to them.
Yeah.
So don't lie to us. Pookie didn't lie to me.
Right.
Pookie doing what Pookie gonna do.
Right. That's
Which
true.
we all got a Pookie in our family. Don't make it right,
They don't
but
make it right.
you know, he ain't them.
Right.
They took a oath.
Oath. Yep. Sworn in.
You guys are supposed to guard this country
Right.
from a Pookie or this and that and the third.
Right.
Not kill somebody who hasn't done anything.
Right.
These people in poverty-stricken situations, any you have white people who rob, you have
Yeah.
Mexicans who rob. Crime happens most of the
Everywhere.
time
Mhm.
when someone has less.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And so we know that's more of a possibility here than there.
Right.
But you know, how far is marching getting us anyway?
Exactly.
I've seen enough marches now. Has there been change? Yep, there's always going to be racism. So what other steps do we take?
Okay.
You know, how much beating of the feet are we going to do? You know, and then the thing is, people, you know, the guys that are being murdered on camera and things like that, and we're seeing this. We're seeing this happen. These are the people that we are supposed to call when we're in trouble.
Right.
That's scary
It is.
because they got the biggest guns. Pookie ain't even got the biggest guns.
Okay.
They got the biggest guns,
Mhm.
and they using them 50 shots or better
Yeah.
on camera sometimes,
Yeah.
or you know, and so there's a difference, but you know, we have to remember that we all matter. We're all supposed to matter, you know, and policing our neighborhoods. If we can't depend on the police to do it properly,
Right.
who are we supposed to depend on?
Right.
So it's a layered question, which is, I guess, why I had so much to say, but there's a bit of a difference in that still, you
Right.
know, because we shouldn't have to call on each other if we're paying you.
Exactly. In your opinion, are Black women selfish when it comes to Black men? Like, what I mean by that is when Black, men are little boys and they are considered not cool, corny, dorks. just not loud or maybe not a bad boy. Then when he grows up and becomes successful, then is old, like, hey, such and such, remember me? Or they get mad, like if he is with someone outside his race. But because black boys don't care if a black girl is nerd, corny, or a dork, they will try to get her number. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um, uh, I like that question. My thoughts in regards to women who dissed, said person back in the day, and back then they didn't want them. Now they hot, they all on them.
Right,
Uh, it's the game. It's the game. Now, are you going to be a sucker and fall for it?
right,
That's on you. Everybody want to hop on the train when it's rolling. You know, you
right,
ever you ever seen before the train start, people just waiting like I ain't getting on yet, man. I'm chilling, man. Whatever.
right,
It's about to get ready to start moving. You hop on this so I can get where I need to go.
right,
um, yeah, it's you just have to know what you're dealing with
right,
as you have to know what you're dealing with. I can't totally blame them for seeing success and wanting to be a part of success.
right,
Now, dissing back then, I mean, that ain't cool. He like you, you want to diss him because he not this or that. It's up to that man to remember that when he
right,
gets and she comes back around. If he wants to forgive her and move on, and that's on him, and
right.
he'll get whatever comes with that.
Okay.
Yeah, those are for the most part my thoughts on that. I mean, to be trying to diss anybody because they aren't what you particularly like is a bit corny to me.
Right,
You know, they're not for you. They're not for you. But kids are immature.
right.
They say the brain doesn't fully develop till 25. We
Yeah,
talking about 14, 13,
right.
12, 15, whatever. You're a whole different person at that
Yeah,
point.
that's true.
Still. If I know you was dissing me back then and now I'll probably use you for what I want to and then be done with the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Just how you go, just depends on how you want to go about it.
Okay. So Nova, what's next for you? Like, what message, do you have for our fans?
What's next for me is I definitely want to put out a couple of more projects this year. Uh, I'm still teaching. Look forward to a whole nother school year of teaching in the Ohio area. Um, Hip hop, just, I'm sorry, people just constantly want to hit me up right now. But what's next for me? More music, more touring, more teaching in the classrooms, uh, more traveling, and just more of everything this year.
Okay.
Yeah, more videos, just more of everything that I've been given. More merchandise, hats,
Okay.
just more of everything. So, when you follow, uh, I'll be producing links
Okay.
for the more
Okay. Well, tell your fans, like, that's want to, keep up with you where they can follow you. Give them your social media handles.
Instagram at Nova the Rebel 130. Facebook Nova the Rebel. Twitter at Nova the Rebel. YouTube, same thing, Nova the Rebel. So, and you could also subscribe on YouTube to Nova Star 23. That's Nova Star 23. And everything is pretty much Nova the Rebel. All the digital platforms, Nova the Rebel.
Okay.
So I ain't too hard to find.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Nova, it has been my pleasure. I thank you so much for taking your time out to take this interview with me today.
Well, I definitely appreciate you guys reaching out to me and making this interview happen.
Yeah, we're happy. I was excited to do it. So I thank you so much for taking your time out with us today.
Not a problem. And and shout out my 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 Instagram podcast, which is TL Talks. It's called TL Talks every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's TL Talk. So we have all types of subjects and topics that we go over. Very interactive with the community, with my community that follow me.